secrets to resumes. Hopefully you guys understand that the goal of getting an MBA is to get a job, right? And so let's talk about some of the things that people put on resumes and whether they are good things to do or not. First of all, what do you think about objectives?
Like a paragraph?
Yeah, so there's like an objective statement. Have you guys seen those before?
No.
Absolutely, stay away from that. Okay, so a lot of times when you're at a career fair, are you handing out cover letters? No, you're handing out. So a lot of people, and so here's what the objective statements that I've seen look like. I'm looking for a financially rewarding job that requires very little effort on my behalf and will allow me to pursue my passion of bicycling or whatever the hell. And you know what I say when I see that? I'm like, good luck. And it goes into file 13, or the round file. Do you guys know about the round file? It's the trash can, right? Yeah. Okay, by the way, when you've got 1,000 resumes, what's the first thing you do? You got to narrow it down.
The university.
What's that?
My college.
Oh, well, no, the first thing I'm going to do is go through and look for people who've sent me email addresses that say like gmail.edu. I obviously know they're an idiot, right? Because there's no such thing. And I toss them out. And spelling errors?
No.
Whoop. How about using multiple fonts?
No.
Whoop. Comic Sans MS.
Welcome to the top.
Yeah. Okay. This is from a man with a mustache, so tells you where he's coming from, right? Okay, so don't do that crap. By the way, the objective, even if you've got a great one, so remember, it's all about what you can do for them, not what they can do for you. And so the objective is really too much about you, and it narrows things down. When they say that they want a challenging opportunity in sales, I'm like, whew, this isn't the place for you because our stuff sells itself. So, whoop, right? Don't do that. Don't put an objective. Now, personal traits. Have you seen this where it says, self-starter, dedicated team member, natural born leader? Do you know what I say when I read that? Horse shit. Actually, no, this is bullshit. This is bullshit, right? And if you don't know, as a non-American, if you don't know the difference between horse shit and bullshit, ask an American friend. Horse shit is basically, well, never mind. Okay, you can look it up later. Okay, so I could say, look at this. I could say, I'm 7 foot tall. There's no way I can credibly certify on my resume any of this being true, right? And if you do have personal traits that are negative, does anyone put flaming arsehole? No. And so those are worthless too. Action. So let's talk about what you do want. You want action verbs. I led a team of 112 people to launch a new blah, 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 right? Concrete, and use action verbs. Don't write crap in passive tense. It's all about what you've done, right? Concrete accomplishments. I created $2.12 million in additional shareholder value through my work as the capital budgeting director for blah, blah, blah. I reduced shoplifting at the convenience store where I work by 37% through my extended diligence and monitoring of security cameras. Action, right? Now, I heard you guys talking about people including pictures in resumes. Is that a good idea?
No.
That's not a resume. That's like a portfolio or whatever. Yeah. I don't mean to rain on your parade, but you're striking out today. There's the mustache and well, anyway. Okay. Okay. And the answer is this. It depends on where you are at. In Vietnam, do they ask for a picture on it?
Some role, some position.
Yeah. So in Asia, it's actually common, right? So Singapore and Vietnam, Hong Kong. So I've got this friend from Hong Kong, lovely person, but she's not attractive. And she knows it. And she said, we asked her, why did you go to work for the government in Hong Kong? And she said, because they were the only people who didn't require a picture with a resume. She's brilliant. And strangely enough, her kids are attractive. But, you know, she knew she just was not the kind of person that was going to get sold based on their pictures, so she went to the government. Does that make sense? Now, you are an American, or let's say you are applying for a job in the United States. Do you include a picture?
No.
No. And in fact, we kind of frown on that because of the potential for discrimination, right? Okay, so I'm going to leave that one. It depends, right? Whether you should include a picture or not. Any questions?
I got mine if you want.
Oh, you got your resume?
I went to the job fair.
Oh, yes. How many of you went to the career fair yesterday? Did you guys make any contacts? Yeah. So, I meant to mention it last time, but anytime you get an opportunity to go to something like that, go. Shake hands, talk to people, and you're going to develop the ability to do that more and more easily, more and more comfortably. It's the weirdest thing in the world to walk up to a stranger and start doing that sort of stuff. That's why they serve alcohol in nightclubs, right? Make it a little easier. We don't do that for the career fair. Maybe we should, I don't know. Okay. By the way, today's secret is the secret to negotiations. Do you know what the most powerful word in all of negotiation is? No. Oh, so someone said no because they didn't know the answer, but the answer is no, right? So, yeah, so it's being willing to walk away. Now, you have to be willing to walk away, but no is very powerful. So here's my one example. It's 1995. My wife and I are buying my first brand new car, a Honda Civic in Oklahoma City. And we're sitting there, and of course they're doing the normal thing about where they have to go off and ask the manager, and then they'll come back. And while they're in to talk to the manager, my wife says, I'm really hungry. I said, well, I saw a Taco Bell on the way. That's like our favorite restaurant. I saw a Taco Bell on the way. She says, well, let's get some food. And I said, yeah, these clowns will still be here. And so we get up, and we're walking to the door, and they come chasing it. They're like, okay, we'll give you $500 more, right? And on a $15,000 car, that was pretty good. So being hungry, my wife being hungry, saved me $500, minus whatever I spent at Taco Bell. Okay, so most powerful word in all negotiation? No, but you've got to be willing to walk away. Any questions? Today, I am going to share with you the secret of learning on the job. And here's the secret. You, on the job, in the beginning, you don't know anything. Am I right? You show up, you don't know squat. And you have to learn really quickly, right? You learn, and then what happens? It starts to taper off and it becomes what we call asymptotic. Now, that means at this point, I've been teaching this class for 17 years. How much do you think I'm picking up additionally every time that I teach it? Not much, right? But well, it's actually good news, because what that means is you learn about 80% of the entire possible learning in 6 months on the job, in the first 6 months. So that means after that, your learning starts to diminish. So what does that mean for you? There are these things called rotational development programs. And when you're talking to potential employers, if they have these rotational development programs, that's an excellent opportunity. I was in one at Halliburton, and they stuck me in different things for different periods of time. It's always 6 months. And I learned lots of stuff. Now, here's the problem. Sometimes when I was at the nuclear plant, I was in a program like this, but I always, and they asked me where I wanted to go, and I always went back to the same thing because I knew it, because it was easy. But what did that mean for my learning? I didn't learn nearly as much as if I had rotated into different areas. So that's the lesson for today. You pick up the most on the first 6 months on the job. Next thing to keep in mind is about staying at a company. At least back when I was playing that game, if you stayed more than 3 to 5 years, people started to think you were a company man and that you wouldn't be able to adapt to the next place. If you stay less than 3 years, what are you? Job hopper, right? Oh, for shame, she's late. And she just missed an enticing nugget of wisdom. You guys will have to tell her later, right? Okay. Any questions about that? Yeah.
So does that mean that organizations need to concentrate on training the staff in the past 6 months?
Oh, yeah. So when people come on board, of course, if they don't know anything, yeah, you really have to work on them in the first 6 months. And I hate it when students say this, but it's right. Most of what you need to know to do a given job, you will learn on the job. So they use that as an excuse not to read the chapter for my class, which is total crap, right? You guys have all read the chapter, right? Okay. So, yeah, you need to get your people trained. And the other thing is, if I don't have any expectations for my employees in the first 6 months, what am I telling them about my expectations for them going forward? Right? Oh yeah, you're absolutely right.
What's your thoughts on job hopping now? How long should you say?
You know, I can only tell you what I know from my experience. And so I would say staying around less than 3 years is probably not a good plan. But a lot has changed. I've been out of that game for 20-something years now. So you guys need to ask your colleagues and people that are like one half step beyond you. When you get into the job market and you develop friends that have been there for a while, ask them, how long have you been here? How long were you at your last job? Yeah, so my resume had all the different assignments from my rotational development with Halliburton on it. And I was getting hired, and this guy looked at my resume, and he looked me straight in the eye. He says, you're a job hopper. I said, no, because these 5 were all with the same company. He said, oh. He said, yeah, you're okay. Right? So, yeah, you got to be careful. Questions? Right. Okay, so here's the secret to the career path. Right now, you guys are standing right here. Oh, for shame, she's late. Okay, so right now you guys are standing right here, and everything looks higher up for you. And when you're at this age, at this point in your life, your thought is, I want to go as high as I possibly can. So this is where everybody starts out, and I'm going to show you what really happens. You start out here, and you're going along. Sure enough, you're following the line, but then at some point, you get to where going up farther, the benefit of moving up farther is offset by the things you would have to put up with by going up further. And so at that point, you reach what my wife and I refer to as either cruising altitude, if you're an American, or neutral buoyancy, if you're from, have you ever heard British people talk about neutral buoyancy?
No.
Oh, wow. So I learned that off the BBC. Okay, so it's basically this. You're not rising in the water, but you're not sinking.
Oh, I don't say.
What's that?
I don't go around boats, so that's.
You don't go around boats. Okay. Anyway, so hey, I don't blame you. Right? So anyway, the point is this: at some point, it's not worth it to you going further up. I've told you guys before, I have no desire to do anything more than be a full professor. And it's oh, for shame, she's late. Ha. That's her name, right? Ha. Okay. So at some point, it becomes not worth it to you to go any further up. Now, here's the interesting thing. At this point, what has your life all been about? It's been about this climb. Now there's no longer the climb. You think you need something else in your life? Something meaningful? Can I tell you what that is? No, you got to figure it out for yourself. For me, it's toaster strudel. But you guys know about toaster strudel? I'm kidding. I don't eat toaster strudel. Okay, so you've got to figure that out for yourself. But that's the horrible truth about career paths. Now, do some people continue on this path? Sure they do. But people that end up here, they're like 1 in a million, 1 in a billion, that sort of stuff. Most of us wind up there on the red line. Now, 2 quick secrets to retiring early. Number 1, you will get bored. Number 2, you might run out of money. Questions?